Ladies and gentlemen, this RedGamerTech.com video, let's discuss SharePlay and, well, more specifically, not only the functionality, but also performance. So, I do want to clarify a couple of points before we start into the performance issues which Sony have commented on. The title will be playable for up to 1 hour, and then you'll have to recreate the lobby. Sony have confirmed, however, there is absolutely no delay. So in other words, you can theoretically just keep creating lobbies back to back. But we've already discussed why that is. It's primarily so that effectively you can't just create a lobby and let your friend play games all the way through. And it's still to basically promote you having them buy games if they want to play cooperative with you for lengthy sessions. But the main purpose of this video is the fact that Sony have as well confirmed that the titles will be capped at a 720p resolution and there will be some frame rate drops. Now obviously the frame rate drops will increase that cinematic feel that many of us, sorry, I could not resist, but we're not sure how bad the frame rate drops are. This is something that we're going to have to see on a case-by-case basis. I imagine the latency is supposedly going to be very little. But once again, I imagine your mileage may vary, primarily based upon your internet connection, as you can imagine. With the resolution, it's not a surprise. I mean, let's just be totally blunt. 1080p is effectively 2.25 times more pixels than 720p. It's a lot to ask, and while you might have a really robust internet connection, your friend might have a really robust internet connection, it also would, I imagine, I'm not quite totally certain how this feature set works. They've not really released that information as far as I'm aware. If so, please do let me know. Facebook.com/RedGamingTech. Give me a message if they have unveiled this, but I imagine it's still going to be putting a lot of strain on their servers. And so it was fairly evident, at least in my personal opinion, that they didn't really want to be pushing that amount of data through. I don't know necessarily if it's going to be a frame rate cap. So what I'm saying is that I don't know, for example, if a 60 frame per second game is going to drop down to 30. They've not given that information. But they have said there will be some frame rate drop. So I imagine, for example, if your internet connection isn't less than stellar, that's going to happen. And as I said, this is official information from Sony. I'm still kind of excited about the feature. It's one of those features, personally speaking, from a very brutal, honest perspective, I probably won't use that much. But I can see a couple of uses for it. Especially when playing with friends, mostly. But it's not something that I'm going to take full advantage of. However, I do realise quite a few people will. The 720p thing, I guess it's another reason as well to make you buy the title. I'm not saying that that's the reason they did it, but it will certainly, you know, if you're that bothered about the graphics, then, you know, it's another reason for you to push and say, hey, you know what, I want to play locally. I am curious about the whole latency thing, especially if you're playing from long distances, especially with certain types of Twitch-based reaction games. I imagine it wouldn't really be conducive to, like, a very fast-paced game. You're probably going to get more issue than others. But once again, of course, this really does depend. Sony, during the conference, was showing this with FIFA 15. Which was being played on two different consoles, two different PS4 consoles, and obviously they were connected to the internet through a wired connection. Just to reiterate an obvious point, Wi-Fi is obviously going to mean that, well, your connection could suffer a little bit. And obviously other issues like your brother downloading a bunch of porn could also be a problem as well. But I think it's kind of a cool feature. I don't necessarily think it's going to be a make or break feature for the console, but I think for some, it's going to be an additional box to tick on the console. So I certainly think that a strong showing for this would definitely do Sony quite a lot of favours. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. As I said, more of a little bit of an update from yesterday's, but I'll see you soon. Take care, and bye for now.